Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lunch Therapy Monday. Moinday. Hoi. Hoi. For those of you who are joining us possibly for the first time, this is a show where we relax, we have a good time, we try and get away from the news cycle a little bit. Try and get away from all the crap that's going on in the world. We interact. There's a chat room. There's a lot of things designed to relax you and relax me. And I see Kate is here. Pam Palmieri is here. What's the story behind Hoi? Well, I'll tell you. It's nice that you asked, Mark. Yes, Mark Strugnell is in London. He is a musician. He has a fantastic new video out that I'd like to play on the show. Hopefully he'll let us do that. At the end of the show, we do a dance break. His question is, what's the story behind Hoi? When we were in high school, there was a club that I started called the Myth Club, or maybe it started itself. Mary Marks is here. And we needed a new way to greet each other rather than just saying hi or how's it going, or it needed to be something that we could project over a long distance. So and hi just doesn't do it. So Hoi showed up, and hey Matt Wright is here. So we would yell "Hoi" to each other across a long distance, and it was almost like you were some kind of animal or something. And you could hear it, and you could discern it from the rest of the noise going on, and it traveled really far. So that's become the hummingbird call. Hoi. Hey, Lauren. It's good to see Lauren here. Lauren's a stand-up comedy. He's a stand-up comedy. Hopefully he's going to be on the show at some point and tell a crazy story. That's what I'm hoping. We should talk after the show about that, or talk during the show about that. Hopefully Lauren's got a crazy story he can come on and tell. But let's get into the show. The show hasn't even started yet, and we've got some big news today, like a secret handshake that's also served as performance art. Yes, Hoi. I like to elevate it to the level of performance art. That's good. All right, moving it in. Here's Boney to bring us on in. Eat a pumpkin, right? It's a new slogan of Lunch Therapy. Eat a pumpkin. Last week we had a lot of animals on that were eating huge pumpkins, raw pumpkins. I never even thought of eating raw pumpkin. Get the whole of London saying "Hoi." Yeah, we got to make it global. We need a little bit of that unity, right, in the world? I think we do. All right, so in through the nose, out through the toes. First breath. Hold it. Let it go. Shake it out. Yeah, Boney's getting really hungry. Boney is the sidekick on the show. He is like the Ed McMahon of the show. He never gets lunch because he's always working during lunch, and it is lunch therapy. But he is looking really hungry for some lasagna. He really is. It's because last week, next breath. Hold it. Let it go. Last week, Boney was on here and he boasted that he would eat an entire lasagna if we got to 500 subscribers. And 500 subscribers seemed an impossible goal at the time. So I was like, heck yeah, Boney, you can eat a lasagna if we get to 500. And I don't know, the question is, did we get to 500 YouTube subscribers? It also, this is about holy, it also provides the distinction between being high and saying hello. It's a good point, because, now, there's so much cannabis around, people are like, hi. Well, yeah, I can get you high. No, I meant holy. Kamala's here. The other Kamala, that would be awesome, Mark, if we can get London saying holy. I think that Kamala Harris is the other Kamala. I misspoke there. Kamala is the original. Kamala Lopez is the original. Daily Vernus meditation. I agree. So we had Vernus on the show last week. Vernus Clear. If you missed it, it's possible. And she had some great advice and had a meditation, which was really fantastic. Let's do one more breath. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. And let it go. Today on the show, I'm going to talk a little bit more about something that Vernus kind of prompted in me. We're going to investigate that a little bit. Also, this week we have the indelible? Do you say that about people? The indelible Sally Mullins is going to be on Wednesday. We're going to talk about, who knows what we're going to talk about with Sally Mullins. She is a comedian, a regular. She's at the Comedy Store all the time hosting the show there, D's Nuts, in better times, of course. And then also after that, we're going to have Joe Menente on the show. And Joe Menente is he's the owner and operator and the head comedian at something called The Fourth Wall, which is where all the comedians go to work out their stuff. And he's going to come on and tell a crazy story. It's about time we got some lunch around here. It really is. Let's see. What does holy sound like in an English accent? That's a very good question. We're going to have to hear. 'Cause I don't know. Today, yesterday I saw our squirrel friend out there in the yard, and she came close to me. I don't know how to tell the sex of a squirrel, but she came by and was eating a squirrel, got pretty close. Hoy avoids that awkward position when somebody says, "How are you doing?" At the same time you're saying hi. Yeah, you just be holy. Yeah, some people are really good at it. There's a guy, Trevor Stewart. He's one of the best holy sayers out there. He's in the chat room sometimes. Brilliant. Kamala's referring to me. No, wait, she's referring to Sally Mullins' special on Amazon called Take It Sleazy. Get over to Amazon before Wednesday. See Sally's stand-up comedy. She is a unique performer. I'm going to try and get her to talk about some things that we've been talking about on the show. My wife thinks I'm crazy. I keep saying hoy, but it sounds very much the same. Probably like, oi, you ugly bloke. I think it's definitely the thing about London is it's got so many different ways of speaking, so many different accents. And England, the Englanders, maybe you could name a few. There's Cockney. That's all I can name, really. Standard British. Oh, you ugly bloke. The younger Menente brother. I think you're speaking of Menendez brothers, perhaps. I don't know. Look for the nuts. See, he's eating that nut, just nutting away over there. That sounds terrible. Jose is meditating, I think. Just like, yeah. Greg is sticking with high. In the cult of the hummingbird, you're free to do whatever you want to do. Greg, did you get your t-shirt yet? Greg was the 400 and, 50th subscriber? 400. Anyway, I think 450th subscriber, and we sent him a t-shirt. He should be getting it soon. Sally is one of the funniest comedians. There you go, Lauren knows Sally. Sally is hilarious. The other thing about Sally that's great is she is an incredible host. And being a host at a comedy club is not easy. I've done it before, and you have to start talking when everybody's getting their food and getting their drink orders, and you're up there just talking away. People are walking in, nobody's paying attention. Yeah, Greg was 450, but it should be coming soon. It should be that. Yeah, I've got the tracking, and it's going to come in the next couple days, I think. No one is nutting away around here. Yeah, that was weird language. Camel and I do a workout called Body Beast. We've been doing this workout called Body Beast, and this guy, Sagi, he is the trainer. And every once in a while, he'll say the most inappropriate things like, "Let's get it on." And you're like, I don't think we're going to get it on. I think we're going to lift some weights. So, Matt has a way to determine the sex of a squirrel. I got to go back and find out how you find out. No, I get it. I get it now. That's good. How do you figure out the sex of a squirrel? You look for the nuts. It's a joke constructed right here on Lunch Therapy. All right, let's move on, because I got some stuff that I want to talk to you about coming your way. Oh, I almost forgot. It's time for the subscriber update, because we're wondering, hey, is Boney going to eat a lasagna or not? I mean, what's going on here? Did we reach 500? It seemed impossible. It seemed like an impossible goal, but through the assistance of all the hummingbirds out there, and through the assistance of people out there that just, were like, hey, I'm really interested in getting some lunch therapy. Let's see what the subscriber update is. Did we make it? Is Boney going to eat the lasagna? It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. And the answer is yes. Boney is going to be eating some lasagna this week. Congratulations, everybody. We got to 503. Down at the bottom there are some of the people that helped make it happen. These are the subscribers over the weekend and last week. And some of them, I've pushed their names together, unfortunately. It was weird because we hit 500, and then we went back to I think we got to 505, and then we went back to 499, and then we went back. So we crossed the threshold twice. So there were 2 winners of shirts. And this is not a scientific thing, but from my calculations, I figure out that the winner of the shirt is Rick Giannatos and Jamie Paravel. They're going to be getting shirts. I'm going to be contacting them. Lunch Therapy shirts, which are available on the website, joelmarshall.com. And we're going to have to set a new goal. As daunting as it seems, we're going to have to set a new goal. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. They're all down below, a lot of them. And thank you, everybody, for getting us to 500. I think some fireworks are in order. These are some fireworks from Slow TV Relaxin' Background, one of my favorite YouTube channels. Let's see what the chat room is saying. There's a lot of excitement out there. Can't tell if the squirrel is chilly. Yeah, we're still trying to figure out the sex of the squirrel. A host is a host, of course, and no one can talk to a host, of course. A host is a host, of course, and no one can talk to a host, of course. I tried. It was pretty good. Unless, of course, the host, of course, is the famous Joel Marshall. I consider myself the clerk of the course, and maybe not the host of the course. When I was on the swim team, there was a thing called the clerk of the course. Anybody else have that experience? I don't know what that is. Clapping. There's a lot of clapping, a lot of celebration. Well done, hummingbirds. Jamie was 500. He's super cool. I think he spells his name Jamy. Not to correct you, but I think. Does that mean Boney gets 2 lasagnas? Because we went over twice. Boney's going to eat a lot of lasagna, I'll tell you. He's just going to be... It's going to be fun. I can't wait for that. Also, I got an email from YouTube. I never get an email from YouTube. But they were pretty happy about it too, so I'm happy about it. They said, hey, high five, Lunch Therapy. You have enough fans to fill a jumbo jet. Of course, y'all know we're only halfway there. We're going for 1,000. Cade was trying to fix it. I know, I'm the spell checker out here. You know what? Nobody loses points for spelling around here. A lot of times people, in the heat of the moment, they're trying to type, and they, type something wrong. They're like, but I will translate as best as I can as the chats come in. All right, let's move on with the show. Got a lot to talk about. So last week, we had Vernice Cleare on the show, and she was very inspirational. She's a coach to some of the biggest actors there are. She coached Juliette Binoche to win the Oscar in The English Patient. Vincent Cassel, she coaches him, and he's an incredible actor. Eastern Promises and Black Swan, if you haven't seen that. And he coaches Joel Marshall, who is apparently the clerk of the course for Lunch Therapy. And Vernice is behind me there. There's a picture of her, in case you forgot what she looked like. So she's this incredible coach. But one of the things that I was interested in was that she was the first female graduate of the Ringling Brothers Clown College. And one of the things that I learned, which I didn't know, were that the clowns put on their makeup the same way every time, and they have a very particular character, very much like stand-ups. All the stand-ups, they kind of have a particular character, a particular way that they're coming from, and they kind of have to find it. When you're an up-and-coming comedian, like myself, you're kind of trying to find it. And so I started looking into clowns. We're going to jump into the Trash Panda Comedy Club for this one. All right. Which one of you out there ruined clowns? That's what I want to know. Who did it? Who ruined them? I started Googling clowns because she had talked about all these clowns, all these great clowns back in the day. And I'm Googling clowns, and I don't know if you've Googled clowns lately, but it is a shit show. I'll tell you that. It's all horrifying clowns. Somebody turned clowns into killer clowns, and now killer clowns are everywhere. I grew up on clowns. I was weaned by clowns. We had Bozo the Clown. In Seattle, we had J.P. Patches. We had Ronald McDonald. We had clowns everywhere. And I don't know. Maybe Ronald McDonald ruined clowns, pushing all that salt, sugar, and fat on us all the time. Here, kid, eat this. Maybe he ruined it. Maybe, some people say, hey, John Wayne Gacy ruined it because he was, dressing up like a clown and killing people. But that guy's dead. Nobody cares about that guy, And his name was John Wayne. It wasn't like he ruined cowboys for us. There are no killer cowboys. Nobody's afraid of cowboys. But, when you say clowns, people go, ooh, clowns. I'm so scared of clowns. Since when? Clowns were always the protector, the fun. They're fun. Why are we eliminating fun? I think Ganell is right. Stephen King ruined clowns. He is the Steven Spielberg of clowns. Steven Spielberg ruined sharks. Totally ruined sharks. We're so afraid. Ooh, sharks. I'm so afraid of sharks. It's because Steven Spielberg used his propaganda machine to terrify us of sharks. You know how many people die from sharks every year? 5 people. 5 people are killed by sharks every year. And 2 are killed by unprovoked shark attacks. You know how many sharks die from people every year? 100 million sharks a year. Thank you very much, Steven Spielberg. And now clowns. Clowns, I don't see them anywhere. They used to be everywhere. Growing up, it was just like clowns. And, I'd go to the football games at the University of Washington. I couldn't even see the game. There were so many clowns out there. And you know what? It was fun. They're killing all the fun. That's what I think. I think somebody out there is trying to kill the fun. So I want to bring clowns back. Maybe the hummingbirds can help us bring the clowns back. Yeah, see, it seems to be a consensus. Stephen King, It. Hi, Peanut Butter and Honey. Great to see you. Yeah, Stephen King is so arrogant. He's so arrogant. He writes a book called It. Could you imagine the publishers when he said, what's the next book, Stephen? What's the next book? And he's like, it's called It. And they're like, how are people going to Google that? It. No, but wait. It's about a killer clown. First I destroyed dogs. Everybody's afraid of dogs, especially rescue dogs with Cujo. See, maybe it's a thing. It seems to be a pathology with him. He's trying to ruin everything. That's Stephen King. The best clowns are a-holes. Or maybe it was that creepy J.P. Patches. J.P. Patches was not creepy. Gunnell is kind of jealous because he got to Seattle. I think he got there late. He missed the whole J.P. Patches thing. Let's see what Kamala says. It's symbolic of the decay and suspicion that has taken over the national mentality. Thank you very much. I found out that clowns are artists. I didn't know this. I found out from Vernus that they're artists. They carefully craft their persona. They invent things. They have routines. They're artists. Who are the next artists that they're going to go after? Is there going to be like killer saxophonists? Killer embroidery? Killer sculptors? You'll Google sculptors, be all death. I don't know what the sculptors do. They like sculpt. I know what they do. They kill a person and then they put them in the sculpture and then they sell it. And they're like, oh, whatever happened to Mary Jane? Is that a movie? Baby Jane? Yeah, and then they'll put the dead bodies in the sculptures and then they'll sell them and no one will ever know. No one will ever know that they have a dead body in their house. It's a movie. It's that easy to ruin things like that. Just ruin. People have been crafting their career. Steven Spielberg started it. Clown under the kid's bed and Poltergeist scared the crap out of me. You see, there's a connection. Steven Spielberg is the Steven Spielberg of clowns, apparently. Ronald Reagan did ruin clowns. He really did. Jimmy Stewart played a clown in the movie. What's the movie called? I don't know. Maybe somebody knows the movie where Jimmy Stewart played a clown. Hobo Kelly, thank you very much. Thanks, Mary. Now we're going to be moving on to some actual clown history. I think it was the film It. I think clowns have always had a dark element. It's part of what makes them funny. Right. But you don't go all perverse on it, right? There's a shadow on the other side of the silliness. It's interesting because Vernus talks about that, where she says every character has an archetype, and then every archetype has a shadow. So when you're playing a character, you're playing the archetype, but there's also a shadow archetype that you can flip to, and that's what makes, I don't know, maybe that's what makes Juliette Binoche so interesting, or Vincent Cassel, who knows? Horrible shark genocide, it's so true. How many clowns do humans kill every year? A lot, I think. Because you got to imagine, where are they? I don't see any clowns around. Fungicide. Name a famous clown right now. Besides Pennywise. I actually just bought some deal with Spotify, mildew on my roses. I bought some, fungicide. Okay, all right. I'm just going to look at a few more chats and we're going to roll on. Clowns at Husky games. Yeah, so when I was a kid, my dad was a teacher at the university, and we got special tickets to go to all the football games, but they sat us in what was called the fun zone, which was really the end zone, which if anybody watches football, you know that's the worst place to sit. You think, oh, great, I'm going to see all the touchdowns, but you're not going to see very much at all. And then they put clowns in front of us because I guess they figured, the parents are there with all their kids, and they're not students, and they're not paying for their tickets, so we'll just put a bunch of clowns there. And that's where my love for clowns began. I'm going to take a random comment here from Lauren. I once got out of a speeding ticket by clowning around. I was running behind for a date at a costume party dressed as a clown. I made him laugh by trying to bribe him with funny money. That's funny. You know, Paul Lynde, the great comedian, got pulled over by a cop, and I guess he was very drunk. And they ended up taking him to jail because he kept asking the policeman if he could shoot his gun. Might not go over so well now. So let's look at some clowns. Now I'm in the real experimental room at the Trash Panda Comedy Club. So really, we're just kind of looking at some clowns. The first one that Vernus mentioned that she trained with at the Ringling Brothers was this incredible guy called Emmett Kelly. And so that was the thing, is I thought, what? You know, like there are actual famous clown characters and they put on the same makeup all the time. So this is Emmett Kelly. This was his character that he had all the time. All the time he was this character. Weary Willie was his name. And, we've all seen it. The Greatest Show on Earth. That was the name of that movie, if anybody maybe put it in the chat room. But he was in The Greatest Show on Earth with Jimmy Stewart and Burt Lancaster. And one of the things that Vernus said, which I think was super interesting, was that clowns in the circus were designed and trained to protect the audience in case something bad happened. So, like, if the trapeze artists fell and like they were like on the floor writhing around, the clowns would kind of, while they took the body off, they'd be kind of entertaining the audience. Mulva saw the most amazing South American clown at the Open Fist Theater and Company. I saw that too. That guy was fantastic. He was fantastic. We'll have to find out who that was. And Jose says, Il Pagliaccio. That's a famous clown. Jose says opera killed clowns. Okay, so Emmett Kelly. Back to Emmett Kelly. So back in 1944, on July 6th, in Hartford, Connecticut, Ringling Brothers came to town, and they had their giant tent. And to waterproof it, don't ask me why, but they covered it in gasoline and some kind of paraffin wax, which was also made of petroleum. And you can imagine what happened. The tent caught on fire. There it is. The Hartford, this is a terrible tragedy that happened. I don't know if any of you have heard of this, but it was the circus fire of 1944. And Emmett Kelly was there, and I think the great Walendas were there. And there's a famous picture of Emmett Kelly. He went and got a bucket of water. He was trying to put the fire out, but it was a much bigger fire than anybody imagined would happen, because 167 people died. There were 6,000 people there. 167 people died, and like 600 of them were injured. And Emmett Kelly was there trying to put it out. He was trying to put it out. And for years after that, whenever somebody brought that up, he didn't talk about it, because it was just too much for him. Bozo. Yeah, we're going to talk about Bozo for sure. insane clown posse had something to do with it. A few years ago, random clowns were in forests around schools in the Pacific Northwest. That's true, right? There was this situation where random clowns were showing up in scary places. It's bad. We got to bring the clowns back. We got to keep moving on the positive. So here's the next one that I want to talk about. Lou Jacobs. So we all know this guy, right? We all saw the posters. I had posters of Ringling Brothers when I was a kid, and this guy, Lou Jacobs, was on all the posters. There he is with an elephant. Here he is, of course, in the famous Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey circus poster. They also, they had a relationship with the elephants. And, there's some things about elephants and circuses that are not so good, but they had a very symbiotic relationship with the elephants. Here is a picture of Lou with his dog, Knucklehead. That was his little dog, and he would actually do an act with the dog. I've got a little clip of it. I'll show you. And also, he was the first living human to be on an American stamp, which is pretty cool. Maybe that fire is what turned clowns evil. Interesting. That is a horrible, horrible fire. It's terrible. So, on a lighter note, I do think that there's a dark aspect to clowns, and maybe they do have their shadow archetype. But it seems like the shadow archetype is winning right now. And clowns are supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be fun. Let's just see a little bit of Knucklehead. This is Mental Productions on YouTube channel, where they have a clip of Knucklehead and Lou Jacobs doing a little bit of a thing here. See, and he has a gun. He's a hunter. He's out hunting. And Knucklehead is a rabbit. I'll make this big. Knucklehead is he's got rabbit ears on. I think, Steve Martin. Maybe Steve Martin got the rabbit ears idea from Knucklehead. I don't know. I've got some ominous music playing. I don't know. It's kind of fun, though. Oh, there he is, Knucklehead playing dead. Anyway, there's one of the great clowns. And then, of course, let's see what the chat room has to say. Remember when we drove by that weird nude clown in our neighborhood with face makeup digging in the garbage can? I got to say, I do remember that, Kamala, and that was pretty dramatic. That was horrible. Kamala and I are driving around our neighborhood. We're about to go home, and there's like a nude man with a clown face on digging in the garbage can. And it was one of those things where you're like, did you see that? It doesn't make any sense. So let's move on to Bozo the Clown. This is Larry Harmon. He played Bozo the Clown, but many people played Bozo. It was one of those things that was licensed all across America. The original Bozo the Clown is here on Lunch Therapy. He's not here. There's a picture of him. Pinto Colvig was the original Bozo the Clown. And, that was kind of before my time, but definitely a clown that all of us knew. In Seattle, we have the Skipping Gestress. I don't know what that is. I do want to know, though. I do want to know. She skips around Capitol Hill. Pretty amazing how the vibe changes when she's on the block. Is there video? Hopefully. All the famous clowns these days are body contortionists and acrobats in the Cirque du Soleil near you. Yeah, one of my favorite clowns from the Cirque du Soleil, I saw in a Broadway show with Bill Irwin. This guy's name is David Shiner. Fantastic clown. It's true. Red Skelton. Yeah. Okay, on to JP Patches and Gertrude, because I can't, not talk about them. When we were growing up in Seattle, before Gunnell got there, one of our viewers, Gunnell, one of our huge supporters, the leader, one of the leaders of one of the factions of the cult of the hummingbird. He doesn't, for some reason, appreciate JP Patches, but JP Patches, Chris Wiedes, and was I always say his name wrong. I have no idea how to say his name, actually. Chris Wiedes, I'm going to say. And Bob Newman, they had a show on Cairo when we were kids. And it was, I mean, these were like my second parents. I think that's what happened. These were like my second parents. Krusty the Clown. It's true, Krusty the Clown. Yep, I put the video in the chat. Oh, she has a YouTube channel. We all need to subscribe. We're all over that. I'm going to show her tomorrow, too. But yeah, so here's Chris Wiedes, JP Patches, and Bob Newman. And Bob Newman had like 16 different characters that he played. He played the Boris S. Wart. He played Gorse the Friendly Furple, if anybody can name any more. Ketchikan the Animal Man. Played it like a bookworm. I don't know, just tons and tons of people. But Ganell missed it. All right. So my question now is, what are they going to ruin next? They already are trying. They're already out there trying to ruin the happy things in life. Apparently they made a Banana Splits movie. I'm like, great, they made a Banana Splits movie. Wait a minute. It's a horror movie. How could this happen? How does it happen? I don't know. It's awful. Look at the Banana Splits guy. He's like a cyborg or something. Wasn't this Innovations Week? I think it was. So far, it's been Clown Week. All right. Todd Lee grew up in Gertrude's childhood home. Is that the one you tried to burn down? Is that the house you tried to burn down, Todd? That's what I'd like to know. Todd has a crazy story like 3 weeks ago about him trying to burn his parents' house down, and it might have been that particular house. I don't know. I swear he's up the street from you guys. I thought I would see actually JP Patches driving in his car to work. And this is how committed this clown was, is that he had his makeup on and his whole thing, and he's driving in his car. So yeah, I think he was near Westgate, like Matt says, and then I think Gertrude was, I guess he was in Bellevue, where Todd Lee was. Mark says, to be fair, Banana Splits freaked me out as a kid. Yeah, but maybe they scared you a little. Maybe their dark archetype, their reversal of their archetype was the thing that was scaring you. I don't know. It's interesting. I guess everything does have a dark side, even clowns. But we got to bring them into the light. We got to bring the clowns into the light. Yep, tried to burn it down. He tried to burn down Gertrude's house. He's trying to protect it from termites. That's a great story. If you missed that episode, it's a Todd Lee episode. It's on a Friday. I think it's 3 weeks ago. He tells a great story. We're going to have more people telling great stories on this show. Crazy stories. That was one of the craziest stories I've heard on this show. And maybe Lauren's got a crazier one. I think JP lived up by Donna Granados. I think you're right. 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4. Okay, so we're moving on. We got to move to dance break because the show's long over. It's been great celebrating our 500 subscribers. Only 500 more to go. We're on it. We're on it. So here's the dance party coming at you. I do want to get confirmation from Mark if I can play his latest video, because he did a video that's what is the word for it? He was remembering a friend of his. It's a memorial? A tribute. There we go. It's not a tribute band, but it's a tribute. All right, Chris Shane is here. He tells great, crazy stories as well. It's great to see you, Chris. We're heading out. I'm gonna play Broken Peach today. Yeah, they got a new one just for Halloween. Thank you, Mark. We got the verification. We're going to have Mark's song on here. It's great, too, because he's in it. And the last one, it was kind of hard to, he was in it, but it was like colorized, kind of hard to see him. And now we can see the greatness. What? No lasagna? No, lasagna's coming this week. I know, Boney's over there going, where's the lasagna? We're working on it. Ronald McDonald is the scariest clown. Yeah, Ronald McDonald and Ronald Reagan, I think. Anyway, here we go. Broken Peach. Get ready because it's going to kind of be coming at you here. It's going to be coming at you. These people. Yeah, these guys are great. Great. Mark had a top knot. That's awesome. So go over to Broken Peach. They've got a website. They've got a YouTube channel. I mean, it's. I don't know who does their makeup, does their dance routines. They got it all. They got it all happening. And I think every year they do a Halloween one. We've seen 2 of them. All right, I'm heading out. Thank you for joining me on Lunch Therapy. See you tomorrow.